Welcome. Welcome inside Veterans Field for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks pregame show. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein, and today, Harbor Hawks travel out to Harwich, Massachusetts to take on the Mariners, who currently sit in second place in the Eastern Division, just 1 point back of the YD Red Sox. It's a beautiful 85-degree day here. There's a few scattered clouds in the sky above White House Field, where the Harbor Hawks look to turn around their two-game losing streak after sweeping 6 consecutive contests over the rest of the CCBL. They dropped 2 straight to the first place Wareham Gatemen of the Western Division. They also sit at top the Cape Cod Baseball League with 24 points. That's 4 ahead of the YD Red Sox, who sit in first place in the Eastern Division, and the Harbor Hawks sit just 3 points behind them at 21 points. Tonight, Harbor Hawks send out St. John's right-hander Gavin Hollowell to the mound. The lengthy right-hander out of St. John's University, making his 3rd appearance on the summer here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Gavin's numbers so far throughout the entirety of the season: thrown 7 2/3 innings, a 2.34 ERA, 6 total hits. He's walked 4, struck out 9. And as I mentioned, this will be his 4th appearance on the summer, his 2nd start. And that first appearance he made back at Katuitt against the Kettleers, he went just an inning, picked up the save along with the walk, and touched 98 miles an hour. Of course, that speedometer at Lowell Park in Katuitt, blowing everybody away. But Gavin, in his last start against Orleans, that was in Game 2 of the doubleheader, made the start on the mound. Velocity was a little bit further down, more around 92, 93 miles an hour. But regardless, the right-hander looks to improve on what's been an impressive resume to his Cape Cod summer thus far. The Harbor Hawks orders for you today. Leading off, Davis Wenzel, the Baylor shortstop, followed by Braden Como, the right second baseman. He'll be playing second. Matthew Barefoot's 2nd straight day in the designated hitter slot, hitting 3rd. Rounding out the cleanup, both Pedro Pages out of FAU. Seth Gray, the right state 3rd baseman, had the night off last night until a defensive replacement late in the game. Back in the lineup today, hitting 5th and playing 3rd base. Brady Lindsley back at first base and hitting 6th, the product out of Oklahoma. Todd Lott, who had 3 hits yesterday, including that home run out to left center field. He'll be hitting 7th. He plays his college ball at Louisiana Lafayette. Tommy Jew, who made some type of spectacular catch yesterday after running down a fly ball, moving way off to his left, probably running over 100 feet into the right center field gap to make a catch at the warning track, and then double off Ryan Kreidler at first base for an 8-3 double play. The UCSB product in Jew back in center field today and hitting 8th, and then rounding out the 9, Georgia Tech right fielder Colin Hall, and of course, as I mentioned, Gavin Hollowell taking the mound today. For the Harwich Mariners, it's Ty Buckner. Buckner plays his college ball over at Missouri State University. His numbers so far throughout the summer: 8 2/3 innings pitched, a 1.03 ERA. This will be his 3rd appearance of the summer. He's walked 7 and struck out 9. We'll give you the rest of the Harwich Mariners order quickly after this, but first, we take you back to the last time these two teams squared up, where the Harbor Hawks prevailed victorious 2-0 in a pitcher's duel out at McKeon Park in Hyannis. We'll take you there right now.
What do you say to that?
He said, He had a really good answer. He gave like 2 marks. And he said, it's like playing with all these guys in high school, so they're
Those are the highlights from last game for you. Hyannis taking that game 2-0. Trevor Hauber making the offensive highlight with an RBI single. That was back when Hyannis had won their 3rd consecutive contest. They went on to win an additional trio before dropping 2 straight to the Wareham Gatemen, as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago. In their first contest, Hyannis won 5-3. Both of those games have taken place in McKeon Park. And Hyannis making their first trip out to Harwich this season. They'll make an additional one later on in this month of July. If you go through the Mariners order today, Chris Gallen leading off and playing left field. Danny Casals, the Miami product, hitting second and playing second, much like his counterpart in Braden Como. Nate Hykoff hitting third and playing first base tonight. Andre Lippius out of Tennessee, the shortstop. He'll be doing the cleanup duty. Gabe Rivera out of right field, hitting fifth. In the 6th spot, Matt Gorski playing center field. He hit a highlight walk-off home run early on in the season against the Chatham Anglers. That taking place in the first week of the season. Brad Debo, the left-handed catcher, hitting 7th. Ram Gill hitting 8th and playing 3rd. And rounding out the 9th, Ben Norman doing the designated hitter. As I mentioned a minute ago, Ty Buckner, the starter out of Missouri State for the Mariners. And it should be a good one as we're set to go in just 15 minutes here at White House Field. 2 second-place teams in the Harbor Hawks and Mariners set to go just shortly. We'll take a quick break and bring you right back. We'll have an exclusive interview with our sideline reporter, Danny Terzer. And then I'll talk the first half play-by-play man, Robert Marcello, before we get set to turn you over to the broadcast and kick things off. We'll be back in just a moment here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Good afternoon, fans, and welcome back to White House Field for this afternoon's Cape Cod Baseball League matchup between the visiting Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the hometown Harwich Mariners. Today's game is sponsored by the Divine family from Milton, Massachusetts. Today's starting lineups are being brought to you by Chatham Bars Inn. First, for the visiting Harbor Hawks, they are managed by Mr. Chad Gassman. Leading off is the shortstop, number 8 from Baylor, Davis Wenzel. Batting second, the second baseman from Rice, number 9, Braden Como. Batting third, the designated hitter from Campbell, number 28, Matthew Barefoot. Batting fourth, the catcher from Florida Atlantic, number 37, Pedro Pages. Batting fifth, the third baseman from Wright State, number 18, Seth Ray. Batting sixth, the first baseman from Oklahoma, number 30, Brady Lindsley. Batting seventh, number 29, playing left field, From Louisiana Lafayette, Todd Lott. Batting 8th, the center fielder.
Back inside White House Field for the remainder of the Harbor Hawks pregame show. I'm your host today, Lyle Goldstein. If you're just tuning in, Harbor Hawks and Mariners set to square off for the third time this season. Hyannis leads the series score by 2-0. Both of those games taking place at McKeon Park. Well, yesterday at McKeon Park, the Harbor Hawks dropped the game to the Wareham Gatemen 17-4, losing their second consecutive contest, both to the Gatemen. But one bright spot from yesterday's game, Alec Trella, the Memphis shortstop, had 3 hits and 5 tries yesterday, came into the game with just 3 hits. So doubled that total yesterday and really had a spectacular game in what was not so much a spectacular performance as a whole for the Hyannis Ball Club. But our sideline reporter caught up with Alec before today's ball game to talk about his impressive night last night right here.
I gave all my money and my time. I know it's a shame, but I'm giving you back your name. Guess I'll be on my way. I want you back to stay. I guess I'll move along.
Weird, yeah. Just all right, Danny, thank you very much. That interview was with Alec Trella. He's not in the lineup tonight for the Harbor Hawks, but getting the night off after an impressive 3-for-5 day yesterday. This pregame show is brought to you by Chatham Bars Inn, the Beach House Grill at Chatham Bars Inn. Resort and Spa is the perfect spot for a seaside lunch or evening clam bake, a proud member of leading hotels around the world. I'm joined now by first half play-by-play man, Robert Marcello. Robert, thanks so much for joining me here on the pregame show.
Not a problem.
So let's just start off with it. Gavin Hollowell taking the mound. He's making his 4th appearance on the year, 2nd start. And he had a pretty solid one in his first outing. That was back in the doubleheader against the Orleans Firebirds. He went 3 2/3 innings, giving up just 1 run. What's the key for him to not just repeat that success today, but even prolong the duration of his start?
Well, I think he definitely has to fight off the heat today. It's a scorcher here in Harwich. He has to get ahead of counts and he just has to pitch effective. Use all of his pitches.
Like you said, it's going to be about 85 degrees here at the time of first pitch. It was a little hotter than that early on in the afternoon. But the Harbor Hawks, the looming question, Rob, is it was the offense. We've said it a bunch here on this show and on Hawk Talk. Been clicking on all cylinders up until the last 2 nights. And then in these 2 games against the Wareham Gatemen, and obviously Wareham's a very good ball club. There's a reason they sit atop the Cape Cod League. But 29 runners left on base over the last 2 days. Obviously, 2-out hitting can come and go. But what's their biggest key to driving in some runs today, especially early on in the game?
I think it definitely takes some timely hitting. They haven't had it the past 2 nights, and I'm sure it's frustrating for them. But to be able to get timely hitting is always important, especially down here in Cape Cod.
Well, Rob, I thank you very much for joining me here on the postgame show. You can catch him on the first half of the play-by-play for this ball game, and then Chris Lucy on the second half. That'll just about wrap up this pregame show here at White House Field. You can join me again later after the game for my postgame show, as well as Hawk Talk, which I'll be hosting, our video postgame show, which you can catch on YouTube. You can also catch all of our player of the game interviews, highlights, and highlight of the night interviews, or highlights, on SoundCloud. We post them every night, so go check them out. Highlights from each and every game. That'll do it for me here on the pregame show. Hyannis and Harwich squaring off for the 3rd time this season, first time at White House Field. We'll be back shortly, 5:30, the first pitch time. Here when we return, join Robert Marcello and Chris Lucy for the call here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. All right, thanks, buddy.
Not a problem.
Hey, how'd it feel?
That was fun.
Good. So what's your passcode?
Oh, she's gonna have you switch phones with me. So.
All right.
Or Rob can do it too.
I'll use mine. It's fine. His phone doesn't have the jack, I don't think, does it?
No.
All right, then, yeah. I just have to tweet first.
Oh, do you have an 8, Rob? Or like a 7? Oh, it's got a case. This one.
Yeah. But also doesn't have the.
Oh, okay.
So this is a 7.
I'll just be a sec. I just want to
No, you're fine.
really quick.
Oh, I figured it out.
Figure what
It
out?
was plugged into here. I plugged it in here. Now I can hear the music.
Oh, okay.
Not a problem.
But I could hear you when we were talking.
Yeah, no, because I couldn't hear you because this was plugged into here. It
Oh,
has to
okay.
be plugged in on the same side
Got it.
as this other one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you sounded fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I can hear myself talk.
Okay.
That's the important point. We're all just a bunch of egomaniacs at the end of the day, so you gotta have that.
It'd be different if he was far away. I wouldn't be able to hear him. You want this?
No,
It's the lineup.
I got him already.
All right. The pitcher's Buckner. Is that
My Buckner's his name, yep. The inner Red Sox fan and you will have to cut him some slack.
Yes. He's not related to him in any single way, so I won't give him a hard time. Even if he was, I wouldn't give him a hard time.
Either way.
It was one play.
Wasn't his
Fortunately,
fault,
that
really.
one play came at the wrong time. But also, they could have came back the next day and won, and they didn't do that. Not too mad about it. I wasn't even alive.
Yeah, what? Two world championships in the meantime.
3.
Yeah, you're doing okay.
Yes, they've won 3 in my lifetime, so I can't get mad. Boston sports has been very successful since I've been alive. Patriots with 5 Super Bowls, Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox.
Coincidence? I think not.
So there'll be a day when they all stink.
And the Yankees will be back on top.
Yep.
You can,
All right, here.
you can hope and dream. Here, I'll just be a sec. Let me just get the music queued up first. So I'm not dead for too long. Okay, playlist and albums, Harwich redrawings. All right, here we go. Go work, Lyle. All right. I can't hear myself for some reason.
No, can you not hear the music?
I can hear the music. Oh, wait. I'm muted. Duh. I'm
We're
an idiot.
muted.
I'm a freaking idiot. That's what my problem is. I forgot. My bad there. Oh. I'm going to ask for the umpires.
Fans, it's now time for the starting lineup for the Harwich Mariners. The Mariners are led by Steve Englert, assisted by Pete Casparosa, Mark Tebow, Steve Gruenberg, Mark Bonavita, Isaac Lippert, Mike Garza, Alonzo Mendoza, and Jeff Phillips. Leading off for the Mariners, playing left field from Boston College, number 4, Chris Galland. Batting second, the second baseman from the University of Maine, number 18, Danny Casals. Batting third, the first baseman from the University of Virginia, number 25, Nate Eichhoff. Batting fourth, the shortstop from the University of Tennessee, number 13, Andre Lipsius. Batting fifth, playing right field from the University of Miami, number 11, Gabe Rivera. Batting sixth, the center fielder from Indiana University, number 34, Matt Gorski. Batting seventh, the catcher from North Carolina State University, number 35, Brad Debo. Batting eighth, the third baseman from the University of Miami, number 5, Ray Gill. Batting ninth, the designated hitter from the University of Iowa, number 19, Ben Norman. And on the mound for the Mariners from Missouri State, number 30, Ty Buckner. Fans, at this time, we ask that you please all rise, remove your caps, and face the flag in right field as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. This afternoon's anthem will be performed by Eddie Barrett.
I'll get us lineups in first pitch rejoin, and I'll point to you when you're good to go.
And fans, at this time, we'd ask that you direct your attention towards the pitcher's mound, who are making their way out on behalf of tonight's game sponsor, the Divine family. Would like to welcome 7-year-old Elle and 8-year-old Cammy.
Mics are hot.
Welcome to a Sunday late afternoon contest as we have the Harbor Hawks on the road to head off against the Harwich Mariners. I'm Robert Marshall. I'm joined by my color commentator, Chris Lucy. How are you today, Chris?
Robert, I'm doing great. Game number 18 for the Harbor Hawks against the Harwich Mariners. The third game in the series between these two on the season. Hyannis leading that series 2-0. Got off to a hot start as temperatures were getting up to the mid to high 80s when we got here, and with the sun as well, it was really taking it out of all of us as we were getting our broadcast equipment set up, even more so out of the ball players getting loose, trying to hit and get ready for the game. But things are starting to cool down now. The sun is still out, so it's becoming pleasant, and it looks like it'll be a great night for a ball game between two clubs who are fighting for the top spot in their respective divisions. Hyannis in the west and Harwich, of course, in the east.
Past two games, the Harbor Hawks have dropped. They faced the Whitman twice, one on the road and one at home. Now they sit in second place, 3 points behind the Gateman, but they could try to make up some ground tonight with a win, and maybe aware him getting lost. But the Harbor Hawks just have to focus on what they can control and winning the game.
Exactly, and they'll have to try winning against Ty Buckner, right-hander out of Missouri State University, sophomore, native of St. Louis, Missouri, a 1-0 record on the summer, a 1.04 ERA. He's been hit around and walked a good deal of batters. He's walked 7 in only 8 2/3 innings pitched and allowed 5 hits, but still maintaining a 1.04 ERA. So he has the ability to bear down mentally and get out of tough situations. But Hyannis has shown the ability to bring pitchers to the precipice, and then they've also squandered a lot of opportunities. As we've mentioned, Hyannis has stranded 29 runners on base over the past 2 games. So tendencies like this from Buckner are things that the Harbor Hawks need to be able to capitalize on rather than continuing to play into a season where Buckner has been able to work his way in and out of trouble as Davis Wenzel steps up for the first ups of the game for Hyannis.
Wenzel, the leadoff man, as Chris said, for the Harbor Hawks, getting ready to start today. And the first pitch is in from Harwich. First pitch is in for a strike right down the Harbor plate. Quickly down 1-0 in the count. A 1 pitch. Ball outside now in the count. 1-1 Harbor Hawks today. The Road Blues. But Harwich is in there. Somewhat tinted yellow jerseys. It's kind of old-fashioned. That is a liner out to the gap, but the center fielder will come on and catch it for the first out. In the top of the first.
Matt Gorski making the play for the Mariners over there. Davis Wenzel leading things off with that F8. Braden Como is coming up after him in the 3 spot. Matt Barefoot. Pedro Pages from Florida Atlantic in the cleanup spot. Brady Lindsley batting 5th, playing 1st. Todd Lott batting 6th. Or Brady Lindsley. Seth Gray batting 5th and playing 3rd. Lindsley batting 6th and playing 1st. Todd Lott in the 7th spot playing in left. Tommy Jew wearing number 6 today in the 8th spot, center fielder.
Como's first pitch is to the first baseman. He throws it on to the pitcher that was running over the first for the second out. Quickly 2 gone here in the top of the first.
Colin Hall rounds out that 9 in right field for the Harbor Hawks today. And a nice play right there between the pitcher, Buckner, and his first baseman, Nate Icon out of Virginia. Over at second base, Danny Casals. And at third base, Ray Gill out of Miami. So good ACC little battery going across the diamond. At short, Andre Lipsius from Tennessee.
Barefoot. Matthew Barefoot up the bat. First pitch in for a strike. Buckner, quick work here in the first as we got 2 quick outs trying to get Matthew Barefoot out of the third.
He's comfortable throwing to Brad Debo, the backstop for Harwich.
That's another strike called. Quickly down 0-2 is Barefoot.
Going from left to right in the outfield, Chris Galland is in left. Out in center is Matt Gorski. Galland from BC, Gorski from Indiana, and Gabe Rivera rounds out in right field from Miami.
That last pitch was just outside. 1-2 count to Barefoot. One of the harder hitters for the Harbor Hawks, but Todd Lott, one of the bright spots of last night's game. They dropped the game 17-4, but that is a 2-out single in between the shortstop and third baseman. 1 man on, 2 out in top of the first.
Matt Barefoot stretching his hitting streak now into 8 games. The center fielder, or mainly just outfielder, period. He can go anywhere for the Harbor Hawks as Tommy Jew has taken over in center field quite nicely. Barefoot DHing today and doing it all, the Camel. He's really been an impressive part of this Harbor Hawks team.
Pedro Pages up for the Harbor Hawks. One of the more important people on this team is not only does he catch, he plays first base. Pitches in. Ball in there, it's stopped by the catcher.
Pages is batting .283 on the season for the Harbor Hawks in 46 at-bats. Mustered together 13 hits and struck out 14 times as well, so he needs to watch his approach today.
1-0 pitch. Barefoot runs, throws down to second. That will be high, and he'll be safe. Barefoot with the steal. Run around scoring position. 2 outs with a man at second.
Barefoot just getting a great jump on the throw. Really nothing that the catcher Debo could do but tip his hat. Got the throw down as quick as he could, but Barefoot too fast. his speed, another big asset to him on the base paths.
1-1 pitch to Pages. That is a high fly ball that will get just out of the infield, but caught by the shortstop of the Mariners. The Harbor Hawks do go 1-2-3 here in the first. The Harbor Hawks will be on defensively as the Mariners are able to bat. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital.
Snap.
The Harwich Mariners and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
We are back. It is now the bottom of the first. Kevin Hollowell on the mound for the Harbor Hawks this evening. On the plate is Pedro Pages.
Gavin Hollowell has really done it all for the Harbor Hawks out of both the bullpen and starting for Hyannis. He's played in 3 games and he started once. A 7 2/3 innings pitched on his season. Only allowed 2 earned runs, only walked 4, struck out 9 though. And coming in at 6'7" and 205 pounds. It's a little bit lanky, but very deceptive. A lot of movement just to his delivery. But as Coach Korn has said, if he can really just keep his body moving forward and getting downhill momentum, coming from 6'7", it's very hard to pick up and can also get him a lot of torque on the baseball, which is why you'll see him throwing from around 91 to 93 miles per hour.
Chris Galland up to lead off for the Mariners here in the bottom of the first. First pitch from Hollowell is high inside. Ball 1. One-0 pitch. That is a ground ball that will get up the middle for a leadoff single.
Yeah, Chris Gallen, somebody who really has been on the skids recently for the Mariners, batting around 290 10 games ago, but he slipped down to 255. 15th hit of the season in his 56th at-bat, so now he's on the base paths, which is where he can really wreak some havoc because Cape Cod right now.
Danny Casals, second man up for the Mariners. That is a ground ball to the second baseman. Throws it to the shortstop over at second, throws it on to first, and a double play. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the first.
Just what the doctor ordered for Gavin Hollowell. Get you out of this inning in a hurry. What he needs on a hot day as well, as it is a scorcher here from White House Field in Harwich.
Nate Eichhoff. Up. First pitch to Eichhoff is fouled off.
Eichhoff's below 200 right. Very, very bad hitless streak earlier in the season, went 0 for 28.
Next pitch is in for a ball. Count now. Sits at 1-1.
I'll save the folks at home from having to do the math on that one. So
next pitch is hit foul, and we'll get past the Mariners bullpen out there. Very similar to what we have at McKeon Park. You have the players sitting out in somewhat fair play.
yeah, and getting back to Eichhoff, after going 0 for 28 to start the season, he's 7 for his last 13. So really chipping away and getting himself closer to a respectable average after a tough start.
1-2 pitch. That ball's high. That was really nice what the Harwich Mariners broadcast did early before the game. They came to talk to us about our players, and they told us something about theirs.
An exchange of information.
1-2 pitch. That is a liner out to Davis Wenzel. He doesn't have to move. All he has to do is just put his glove on it. After one, the score is 0-0 tied here in Harwich. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the second. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
The Harbor Hawks are up in the top of the second. Seth Gray, fifth man in the order. Patriots was able to get on last inning. Unfortunately, unable to make anything out of it. Sorry, Barefoot was the one that got on. Stole a base. Pages, unable to get him home. A 1 count quickly down is Gray. A 1 pitch. The ball's high. Now 1-1. Ball's high.
Two and one now, the count.
1 pitch. Ball's inside low. Count now sits at 3-1. Three-one pitch. That is a laser that will just get past the shortstop, and a leadoff single for Seth Gray has the Harbor Hawks going. They're trying to break this 2-game skid that they've been on and trying to get runs early.
Yep, 10th of the season right there for Seth Gray. He got a quasi night off last night. Didn't get to start. Had to come in and play defense later in the game as Hyannis just really needed to get guys out there and end what was a 17-4 blowout to the Wareham Gatemen. But a nice piece right there. That shoots his average up from 257.
Now up is Lindsley. First pitch is in for a fastball that was high in the zone, but called a strike. Quickly down 0-1 in the count.
Brady Lindsay playing his college ball at Oklahoma, 5 hits and a 200 average in 25 at-bats.
0-1 pitch. That is a foul ball. That will land right near the fans down the third base side. A pretty good crowd here today for the first game of July.
And the big holiday is coming up soon, so everyone making their way out to the Cape.
0-2 pitch. That is a ball just outside. Did not catch the edge of the plate. And now sits at 1-2 with Seth Gray on first. Now with a very big lead. 1-2 pitch. That's another foul ball. Lindsay trying to fight it off. Both teams today in search of a win, as it is now kind of getting to the halfway point of the season where at some point one of these teams will take off.
Playoff race is starting to heat up.
1-2 pitch. That is another foul. All fouls back. There is a long way for the pitcher, as if it gets a pass ball. One of the largest of the Cape. Big backstop. 1-2 pitch. That is a ground ball to the pitcher. He throws it on to second. Throws it back to first for a double play. And the second one of the game, both teams now have a double play and 2 quick outs in the top of the second.
Tough start to the inning for Hyannis, especially with Todd Lott coming up to the plate right there. You have Seth Gray able to get on and then doubled off on the ball from Lindsley right there. So a big opportunity, again, for Hyannis, kind of squandered there.
Todd Lott. Now one of the bright spots of yesterday is he had a solo shot for the Harbor Hawks to get up 1-0. That was all for naught. First pitch in for a strike, just got the outer edge of the plate. Buckner working very quickly for Harwich. A 1 pitch. Another swing and a miss by Lott. Count now sits at 0-2. As a breeze is starting to come through Harwich, as it's been very hot today, and the breeze definitely is going to help. 0-2 pitch. Strike 3. Got him looking. A nasty pitch by Buckner. The Harbor Hawks go scoreless here in the second, but Harwich will be up in the bottom of the second. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back. Here in the bottom of the second, Andre Lipsius lead off for the Mariners. Hollowell's pitches in, catches the outside part of the plate for strike one to Lipsius.
Lipsius batting .271 on the summer and 59 at-bats, 16 hits.
That's a call for another strike. Both pitchers today working very quickly. Oh, 2 pitch. The ball's high. Count now runs at 1 and 2. One-two pitch. That ball does not catch the outer heart of the plate. Pedro Pages wanted that one as tried to frame it back in the zone. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss by Lipsius for the first out in the bottom of the second.
High fastball right there from Gavin Hollowell. Every hitter in this league is sitting on a fastball just like that one. But Hollowell really with the, just with the pure MPH to get it by guys even at this level. I mean, when he was coming out of the bullpen, he was coming out with about 98 miles per hour. And he can sit around 90, 91, which is very impressive for a pitcher at his level.
Gabe Rivera up for the Mariners, and that pitch is in for a strike. Both pitchers really so far today have gone ahead and the count for the strike. A 1 pitch. Swing and a miss as that ball goes in back of the backstop. Guy now runs at 0-2. Not sure if Rivera got a tip of that or not, but Pedro Pages did miss it. Count set at 0-2 for Rivera. 0-2 pitch. That is a foul ball. Land past Harborhawks dugout. Into the woods. Two pitches in. Hollowell to the set. Swing and a miss, strike through. That ball gets behind the Pages, takes his time to throw it over, and he is out for the second out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hollowell.
Both swing as well. Again, that fastball is just at another level from what these guys have been seeing all season at their respective colleges. So Hollowell able to take stock in that, and it looks like what he's been working on with Coach Korn has been going pretty well because his posture on the mound is much better than we saw earlier this year, and that enables him to make the most of that 6'7" frame he has, and that's what they've been working on a good deal.
Matt Gorski now up. That pitch is going to go foul, but appears someone's going to have it, and they do not, as Pages and Lindsley ran to go get it, but lands just before the Harborhawks dugout.
Yeah, neither of the two trying to make an impromptu trip into the dugout chasing after a fly ball. So they lay off, and it lands just in front of the dugout. Maybe a possible play to be made, but definitely not an easy one.
Still 0-2 in the count now. Gorski up the bat. 6th man in the order for the Mariners.
Batting .205 and 34 at-bats for Harwich this season.
Count sits at 0-2. The pitch is in. That is a foul ball.
Look out below.
That will land right near our broadcasting station here, but everyone's okay. Everyone got out of the way. But everything's all right. We're going to proceed to play on.
Our pregame, postgame host, Lyle Goldstein, right near the ball, but he doesn't come up with it. Harrison Myers, our intern for the Harborhawks, in attendance too. Not able to get to it either, but they're doing their best.
That is a liner that will get past Davis Wenzel. For a 2-out single, there'll be a man on. Wenzel there with a good effort, just unable to get it.
Gorski fighting in that at-bat, a very good one from him. Able to fight off multiple 2-strike pitches and getting a second life on that foul ball you saw down the first base line where Pages and Lindsley just couldn't communicate who was getting it, fighting the shade and the sun simultaneously. So definitely a very confidence building at bat for Gorski.
Brad Debo up to bat, the catcher for the Mariners. Pitches in, the runner goes. Pages throws down to second, and he'll be out by a mile. A great throw by Pages, and after 2 innings, score is still here, 0-0. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the third. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back here in Harwich as we start the top of the third. Tommy Jew now up, the center fielder for the Harbor Hawks in the lineup today. And the first pitch of the top of the third is in. That's a strike right down the heart of the plate. Sun now is starting to shade over home plate. Oh, 1 pitch. That is a ground ball that does not get past the third baseman. A great play, but a bad throw. And Tommy Jew's going to keep running, and I think he's going to try to go to third. And he'll get down. And a triple on the play, but it will not be called a triple as it will be awarded an error. Tommy Jew with his speed definitely getting the third baseman to quickly throw over after a great play. Just didn't get the right grip on the baseball.
Number 5, the right
And the
fielder,
Harbor Hawks have a good shot here to score.
Colin.
Colin Hall now up, and all he has to do is just hit a ground ball to the shortstop, second baseman, to third baseman. He'll probably score a run. A huge break for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch is in low, almost in the dirt, but stopped by Debo. Nobody out, a man on third base. See if the Harbor Hawks can capitalize on this. 1-0 pitch. That's in for a strike low. Count now sits at 1-1. One pitch. That pitch is in for a strike, just catches the outer edge of the plate. Now count sits at 1-2. Anything in the outfield will probably score a run with Tommy Jew's speed. 1-2 pitch. That's just outside. 2-2 count. It is 6:03 here in Harwich. 2-2 pitch. That's fouled off, hit to the backstop, just above where the PA announcer sits here in Harwich, and also the broadcasters. Count still is at 2-2. Runner on third. Nobody out in the top of the third. 2-2 pitches in from Buckner. That's another foul ball. Go past fans on the other side of the baseball field right near the Mariners dugout. Big crowd here today in Harwich. July 4th weekend. July 4th is during the week this year, but a lot of people will be here. 2-2 pitch. Just outside. Count now runs at full. 3-2 to Hall. Three-two pitch. That's a swing and a miss. And he'll be out as the catcher doesn't even have to throw over to first. Wenzel up. Now the leadoff man for the Harbor Hawks.
Back to the top of the order for the Harbor Hawks, the shortstop, number 8.
A man still at third now, one out. Let's see if Wenzel can be able to get this run across. Very important run early in the game, especially after the mistake that the third baseman of the Mariners made. Pitches in swing, and a missed that pitch by Wenzel. A one pitch. That is in and will get past the shortstop as they played in, and a run will score. The Harbor Hawks are up 1-0. Here in the top of the third with one out and a man on first. Brady Como. Now let's see if he can keep the trail rolling for the Harbor Hawks.
Number 9, the second baseman.
The Harbor Hawks were able to score a couple of runs later in the game, as at that point it was 9-1 and they made it 9-4, but then after that the Gatemen took over. Man on first in Wenzel, taking a small lead over at first. That first pitch into Como just outside for a ball. Goes back first, but he'll be safe. Wenzel taking a bigger lead this time. One 0 pitch. That is foul. Como right off the end of his bat. It didn't hit him. Umpires today in their baby blue uniforms, as it's the semi afternoon, but early evening. As usually you see during night games, umpires wear black. But because of, I'm assuming because of the weather. Now hot it was, they definitely did not want to do that. That pitch is foul. Right off right near us. Man still at first. One out in the top of the third. Harbor Hawks are up 1-0 though. Wenzel with a big RBI single. Past shortstop. Goes back over to first again. Wenzel slides in, but no tag. So Wenzel had nothing to worry about. Count set at 1-2 to Como. One out in the top of the third. Pitch is in. That is another foul ball. It will land just past the Harbor Hawks dugout into their bullpen area. But everyone will be all right down there. Definitely have to pay attention if you're a bullpen pitcher or even a starter, because some of those guys sit out there. 1-2 pitch. Wenzel's going. That is a infield fly ball that will land right to the third baseman, calling off the shortstop for the second out here on the top of the third. Matthew Barefoot out for the Harbor Hawks. 2-man out in the top of the third. They are up 1-0 if you're joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks
Number
Digital
28,
Network.
the designated hitter from Campbell, Matt Barefoot.
First pitch is in. That is a little blooper out to center field, but it does not get down as a second baseman for the Mariners, able to catch it as he had sunglasses. Definitely helped them there. The Harbor Hawks do score 1 run here in the top of the third. The Mariners will be up in the bottom of the third. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Don't thank me, thank the Harwich drinks. One of them from the session stand just took it into the kitchen and filled it up for us. Very nice of her.
Magic Works Media copyright.
I'm trying to save mine for my play-by-play. I already drank a full one this afternoon while I was.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
In the bottom of the third here in Harwich, the score is 1-0. Page is just finishing throwing down the second during the warm-ups of this inning.
Leading off the bottom of the third inning.
Debo back up as the last time he was up.
Number 35.
The runner at first got thrown out, so he's back up. Gets kind of his second at bat. Really, it's just his first. Pitches in for a strike. Hallwell trying to protect this 1-0 lead. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Debo. Quickly down 0-2 in the count. Sun continuing to shade over home plate. The home plate umpire calls time. Hollowell just about to go to the set. A lot of pitchers do not like that, but Hollowell was okay with it. 0-2 pitch. Foul ball just goes past the fans along the third base side here in Harwich. The 0-2 pitch is in. The ball's high. Trying to get Debo to swing and miss at it, but he did not oblige. Count now runs at 1-2. 1-2 pitch. That is a liner that just goes foul. Lindsley unable to make a play on it as it went foul just past him. Still an 0-2 count. To Debo. 0-2 pitch. Another foul ball will land right near the fans on third base side. They've been getting warned so far here today. Clearly the fans love to sit out there. Oh, 2 pitch still on a foul tip. Call for strike 3 and a strikeout for Hollowell. 2 or one out.
The third
Sorry, in the
baseman,
bottom of the third.
number 5 from the University of Miami, Ray Gill.
Ray Gill up for the Mariners. Went out in the bottom of the third. Pitches in. Ball goes foul just above us and into the woods. Down 0-1 in the count. Second pitch is in. That pitch just gets into the inside part of the plate. Count now runs quickly at 0-2 down to Gill. Hollowell and Buckner working very quickly. 0-2 pitch. That ball's in the dirt. Pedro Page is able to snag it just before it hit the ground, but his glove hit the ground. Gill did not swing at it. 1-2 pitch. That ball just goes foul and also goes past broadcast booth here in Harwich. Count now still at 1-2, one out in the bottom of the third. 1-2 pitch. That ball just outside, runs the count now at 2-2. Wind continuing to pick up. 2-2 pitch. That is another foul ball, but comes back into the field of play with the wind. Caught by Brady Lindsley, the first baseman, for the second out. Here in the bottom of the first. Definitely a nice breeze here at the Cape.
Number 19, the designated hitter from Iowa, Ben Norman.
Ben Norman, the last man in the order for the Mariners. Howell trying to get out of this still with a 1-0 lead. That first pitch goes foul. It's off the light post right next to the Mariners bullpen, but will bounce in the field of play as a bullpen pitcher goes out and gets the ball. We saw that last night in Hyannis. You don't really usually see it that often, but we saw it last night. 1-0 pitch, that's ball low, runs the count at 1-1. One pitch. That's in for a strike. Catches the outside part of the plate. Count sits at 1-2. Hollowell, one strike away to be able to get out of this in the third. Still a 1-0 lead. Nobody on base. 1-2 pitch. That does not catch the outside part of the plate. Just goes out. Count sits at 2-2. 2-2 pitch. That ball's in the dirt. Norman did not swing at it. Thought about it. Pulls his body and his bat right up. Count sits now at full 3-2. Trying to get a 2-out walk. Trying to get something going. 3-2 pitch. That's a foul ball. It goes down third base side. Seth Gray unable to get it. Bullpen pitchers for Harwich and Hyannis are definitely not going to be only used for their pitching. Is to be able to get the foul balls come their way. Benefits of having the bullpen pitchers in the field of plays. Usually you see them out in the outfield where you don't want them to get to the ball. If you're the opposition, that is ball 4 and a 2-out walk. Well, now I'll get the top of the order for the Mariners up. Galland is up.
The leadoff hitter for the Mariners from Boston College, number 4, Chris Galland.
Runner at first, and Norman taking a sizable leadoff first. First pitch is in for a strike to Galland. Harbor Hawks are playing at double play depth over at shortstop and second base. Trying to just get the force play over at second. Pitcher's going. Pages throws down to second. And he'll be out. Pages with a suspect throw there. Bounces, but a great job by Como being able to apply the tag. It is 1-0 still here for the Harbor Hawks after 3. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the 4th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
It is the top of the 4th. Chris joins me back in the booth.
Hello.
Baker's leading off for the Harbor Hawks. They're trying to widen their lead as they're currently up 1-0 off a mistake from the third baseman of the Mariners, throwing it past first baseman, allowing Tommy Jew to run all the way to third. Buckner still on the mound for the Mariners. First pitch at the top of the 4th is in. Ball in the dirt. Ball one, Debo able to make the catch before it hit the ground. A no pitch. That ball's foul, goes just be above us.
Pedro Page is 0 for 1 on the day, but really making his impact felt in the field as of now, rifling out 2 runners from behind home plate.
1-1 pitch. That is a laser out to left field, but on to catch it is the left fielder for the Mariners for the first out. In the top of the 4th, good piece by Pages.
Good piece, wrong place from the Florida Atlantic University catcher. Chris Gallen, the left fielder, didn't have to move an inch to glove that ball. All he really had to do was fight the sun, and it is coming down pretty hard right now, but still, very easy play for him to make on what was good, solid contact from Pages.
Seth Gray up for the Harbor Hawks, 1 out in the top of the 4th. Harbor Hawks are up 1-0. First pitch in for a ball. 1-0 pitch. Fouls it off as Gray right into the woods, just to the left of us.
Seth Gray hunting another hit. He's 1 for 1 on the day. Doubled off, though, in the top of the 2nd.
1-1 pitch. That ball's high. Some dirt came out of Debo's glove, as the ball was dirty or his glove was dirty. 2-1 pitch. That ball's high again, runs the count at 3-1. Both times Gray has been up to bat today. They've been kind of scared of him.
I mean, he's somebody that can really put a good charge into the baseball. He's been hitting well for Hyannis. I mean, coming into this game around 280.
That pitch is a foul ball from Seth Gray. Third baseman and the left fielder unable to go on to catch it. Cal now runs at full, 3-2 to Seth Gray.
I mean, there are times this season where Seth Gray has been in the mid-300s with his batting average. It sits at 278 now after his leadoff hit in the after his not leadoff, or it was a leadoff hit actually in the top of the 2nd inning. So in his previous at-bat, he got the hit that bounced his average up from 259.
Full count. That is a laser out to right field. Unable to get on it and will get past the right fielder. Seth Gray continuing to run. He's going to try to go 3. And he'll be standing up or sliding in with a 1-out triple. Seth Gray with a good piece there. Right fielder thought he was going to catch it, dove for it, missed the ball, and allow him to advance 2 bases.
Well, the ball did not touch the right fielder Rivera's glove whatsoever, and very mistimed jump. If he's able to get that ball in front of him, Seth Gray has to settle for a single easily. But because he dives and he misses it, Seth Gray, using his speed, coming in with a good amount of it for a guy his size, cruising around and sliding into third base before the throw even comes in from Rivera in right, because he had to find the ball after. It doesn't have the strongest arm either from what we saw off the throw.
The infield is playing in. Already down 1-0. And that has scored an error.
It scored a hit and an error. So that will be a single for Seth Gray.
Error because he allowed him to advance 2 bases. That is a fly ball out to left field. That will get down. That will be able to score a run, and the Harbor Hawks are up 2-0. Here on the road, both mistakes by the Mariners prove costly. The Harbor Hawks have made them pay. They're now up 2-0, with Todd Lott now up.
Brady Lindsley starting to hit his stride for the Harbor Hawks. Came into this game batting .200 and now getting above that with the single, driving in a run as well, getting Hyannis out front 2-0.
Todd Lott up, Lindsley at first. Harbor Hawks are now up 2-0. First pitch, swinging to miss that high fastball from Lott. Buckner's pitched pretty good so far today, but has let up 2 runs. Somewhat to his wrongdoing. A 1 pitch. Another swing and a miss at a fastball from Lott, not able to catch up to Buckner's fastball. Lindsay not even thinking about stealing. He's taking a small lead over at first.
Yeah, a pair of errors really costing Buckner a good deal in this game.
That ball's low. How's the count at 1-2? That's a foul ball. Count still at 1-2. Count now sits at 1-2. Throws back to first is Lindsley. Trying to take more of a sizable lead. Has to slide back in. One-two pitch. He'll have to throw back to first. He'll be safe. Not even a tag. As they feel that Lindsley's going to try to steal.
Keeping an eye on the catcher out of Oklahoma.
1-2 pitch. That is a rope to the gap. It will get down. There will now be runners in the corners with 1 out. And the Harbor Hawks are starting to brew.
Another big hit from Todd Lott there, continuing a huge hot streak for him. 10 games straight with a hit for Todd Lott. He's 11 for his last 22 at-bats. 7 of those hits, 5 of those hits for extra bases.
Tommy Jew now up, but the pitch coach for the Mariners now meeting on the mound with his pitcher. But no action down in the Mariners bullpen. They have a clear shot at it.
Steve Grunberg out there, the 6-year pitching coach for Harwich.
Tommy Jew talking to Ron Polk. Also, Chad Gaspin, the manager.
Another big opportunity for Hyannis here with those runners on the corners. So the Harbor Hawks want to make sure they can execute everything they want to a T and capitalize on an opportunity. I mean, it was all a matter of lost opportunities in the 2-game series sweep to the Gatemen in the home and away affair over the last 2 days. 29 runners left on base between those 2 games, Robert. The Harbor Hawks just can't expect to win if they do that.
Definitely cannot. Runners in the corner, 1 out in the top of the 4th. That ball's in the dirt. Stopped by Debo. Throws back to first, but he'll be safe. One 0 pitch. That ball goes foul back. Count now sits at 1-1. Runners on the corners. Harbor Hawks are up 2-0 here on the road. Trying to snap their 2-game skid that has them now in second place. One pitch. Swing and a miss by Tommy Jew. Debo thought about throwing back to first, but Locke got there in time. The 1-2 count to Tommy Jew. Runner on the corners, 1 out. Harbor Hawks are up 2-0. Buckner's pitch is in. Foul tip foul will land off the catcher's mask of Debo.
Dayton and the ball boy over to pick up the loose ball. A couple new pearls are put in the back pocket of the home plate umpire, and a new one sent out to Buckner on the mound. Harbor Hawks with a big situation here. Runners on the corners. Chance to build on a 2-0 lead.
1-2 pitch. That ball's high. Throw back to first, and he'll be safe as Lott there. Had to quickly run back. Just trying to get a lead.
Debo flashing a very potent arm, throwing down to first base, keeping Todd Lott honest. He barely got in with the slide under the tag.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Throws back to first, but he'll be safe. And there will be 2 gone in the top of the 4th. Still runners on the corners.
I mean, it's not a totally safe proposition to be throwing down to first at the rate that Debo is with a runner on third base as well. And it's not like you're going to really draw Brady Lindsley off the bag at third. But at the same time, if you airmail or get a throw a little bit offline down the first base side, not only is Todd Lott advancing at least to second, but you're giving up the 3rd run of the game and really putting yourself behind early on.
Colin Hall now up with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. That first pitch is in for a ball. Quickly up in the count, 1-0 is Hall. Trying to widen this lead for the Harbor Hawks. 1-0 pitch. That is a liner, but caught by the third baseman. A great play. Redeeming himself after allowing the first run because of his errant throw. The Harbor Hawks do score another run in this inning, unable to score anymore. The Mariners will be up in the bottom of the 4th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Welcome back. Here in Harwich, the Harbor Hawks are up 2-0. And Gallen, the leadoff man for the Mariners, now up. Trying to cut down to this league. First pitch is in first strike. Second pitch is just outside for a ball. That runs the count at 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Fouls back now. That's the count at 1-2. Lands after hitting the backstop right near us. Ball boy for the Harbor Hawks able to get it. Pitch was fouled back. Still 1-2 trying to protect the count. One-two pitch fouled just right back at us.
Chris
What is a foul? Bell thought he hit him.
Gallen did think the ball hit him, and he looked back at the home plate umpire in disbelief, but he'll have to step back in there. Ball was called foul, and now Steve Englert, the manager for the Mariners, is coming out to have a word. And now the umpires will congregate in the infield to have a word about the call as well. So Steve Englert speaking and having everyone at full attention here at White House Field. Little Bob Marley playing on the speakers now. Get up, stand up for your rights. Interns here with a sense of humor in Harwich. What do you need down 2-0 in a game like this? It's been a hot day, a long one for both ball clubs already. Although things are starting to cool down now as the game heats up and baseball weather kind of coming into effect as the sun dips lower and lower here over White House Field.
The umpires still taking their time to deliberate this call.
I mean, it's a call that
I don't think it could have bounced that back if it hit him.
I don't think so either. And it's a call that they do need to get right because it is a very tight situation that both of these teams find themselves in right now. Harwich only a point above Chatham in the Eastern Division standings at 9-8-1. And the Harbor Hawks now 3 points behind Wareham, who have 24 atop the Western Division. So both of these teams trying to claw their way back to the top of their respective divisions and put themselves in good positions for the playoffs. So this game, although early in the season, still merits a good deal of scrutiny from the officiating crew as now everybody goes back to their places.
The call will stand. They say it will be a foul ball. Back in the batter's box is Gallen. 1-2 pitch. Another foul ball. Protecting a 1-2 count. One-two pitch. That ball is outside. Let's count at 2-2. In the bottom of the fourth, Harbor Hawks are up 2-0. They have 5 hits to the Harwich's 2. Has another foul ball. Will land just to the left of us.
Well, that allow Goldstein in the range of the rest of the interns. They don't even think about that one. They don't give us a look over here either, as we call them by name. Might be a little upset with the shout out they got earlier on the broadcast, I suppose. It's all in good fun. I mean, come on, guys.
It is all in good fun, absolutely.
They're enjoying themselves over there.
2-2 pitch. Foul ball. Land right into the woods.
You want to see the people at this ball game really having the most fun. It's the kids chasing after those foul balls.
Definitely. This week's going to be a fun week, as this was the so-called 4th of July weekend, because it is during the week, but people are still down here during the week for this week.
Absolutely.
Probably the biggest weekend, I'd say, down on the Cape, as a lot of people come down, and then the 1st and 2nd week of August, and most of July. As we start on the start of the season, not as many people come as the season goes on. Teams start get better. 2-2 pitch. Ball's low. Count now runs at full 3-2. This is a long at bat. Three-two pitch is just outside. Did not catch the edge. And a leadoff walk.
Number 18, the second baseman from the University of Maine, Danny Casals.
Danny Casals. Now up.
Big at bat for Gallen there as he tries to get himself back up towards the upper half of the league in batting average.
Pitch is high, but will be called a strike.
Gallen came into this game on a 4-for-21 stretch at the plate, but with a knock and a walk today, starting to look up.
Those bats first, he'll be safe. Throws over to second as he went down, and he is out. Gallen does not like it over at second, and one gone quickly here in the bottom of the 4th as Pedro Pages, once again, a great throw down to second.
Pedro really making his presence felt from behind home, and he hasn't been able to make an impact at the plate in either of these past 2 games, but still.
That ball goes foul back. Almost land right near the stands. Just to the right of us here. We're very close to the stands here. We're towards the right side, the Harbor Hawks side of things.
I mean, they'd hear it on the broadcast if it landed anywhere near or on those stands. That whole woodwork and metal frame really makes a good deal of noise.
That's another pitch that will go foul. All while throwing a lot of pitches here in the bottom of the 4th.
He'll have to start watching his pitch count soon, as they don't want to overwork him, but he's only thrown about 58 so far, so nothing too bad.
Pitch is in. That is a ground ball to the third baseman, Gray. He'll throw it on to first, but misses the ball as Brady Lindsley. And he'll be out at second base. Way to redeem yourself, Brady Lindsley. And gets the second out. We've seen some freaky plays today here in Harwich.
Hey, throw one more on your score sheet right there. An E1, an E3, and then a 3-4 putout on the throw after the error. So everyone's scorebook going to look a little bit wonky in that box, but a great recovery from Brady Lindsley, who's starting to come into his own at first base.
First pitch into Eichhoff is outside for a ball. Second pitch into Eichhoff is a swing and miss. Let's count at 1-1. 2 quick outs. Here in the bottom of the 4th, they hit right back to the pitcher. Hollowell just tosses it over to first. Brady Lindsley catches it. Way to redeem yourself, Brady Lindsley. As now the Harbor Hawks will be at bat here on the top of the 4th. Up 2-0. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Davis Wenzel leading it off for the Harbor Hawks here on the top of the 5th. Harbor Hawks are up 2-0. Hollowell pitching very well so far today for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch in from Buckner is in for a strike. He stays in the game.
He's pitched a solid one so far. Only 1 earned run on 5 hits.
That ball goes foul, lands right back right where we are. I mentioned at the first couple of innings. A very large backstop here in Harwich is if the ball does go past the catcher, it's going far away. 0-2 pitch. That pitch is outside. Wenzel thought about going for it, but started tailing outside. One-two pitch. That is hit by Wenzel as he takes it right off the shoulder, but he's all right. He'll run down the first for a leadoff man on base with Braden Como. Now up, he pitched last night for an inning. Did let up 2 runs. But with the Harbor Hawks being down as much as they were, they just need someone to pitch.
Absolutely. He's not a natural pitcher. Hasn't really pitched on a consistent basis since he was early on in his high school career, but came in a spot for Hyannis to pitch another inning against the Gatemen as he did earlier this season, but got roughed up in his second trip around.
He puts a bunt down in the speed of Como. A great bunt down. There'll now be runners at first and second. Nobody out with Matthew Barefoot now up at the plate.
Calling the safety squeeze on that one. Braden Como laying down a beautiful bunt, getting it the bat at the top of the strike zone, dinking the ball downward. It hit off the grass with a high hop and then died out, and Como, being as fast as he is, just beat it out down the first base line, advanced the runner over to second base. Quite nicely done. And with Matt Barefoot up, this is a big opportunity again for Hyannis to extend a 2-run lead.
Pitch is in. That gets past the catcher, but no runners will advance. Debo able to quickly get that ball.
The NC State backstop really doing a good job handling his pitching staff today. Despite the errors in the field, 2 of them for the Harwich Mariners, Buckner's been pretty calm.
Pitch just outside, but catches the edge of the plate. Count now runs at 1-1. Man on first and second. Nobody out in top of the 5th. Harbor Hawks are up 2-0 if you're joining us. 1-1. In for a strike. Now is the count sitting at 1-2. Action in the Harwich Mariners bullpen. They have someone protecting the pitcher to let them know if a ball is coming towards them.
Common courtesy in the game of baseball right there, just to make sure everybody's okay, especially when you have a bullpen that's still pretty well in the field of play, or at least close to the field of play. That bullpen, of course, out of play.
Not as up the line as it is in Hyannis. And that'll be strike 3 for the first out here in the top of the fifth. Matthew Barefoot swinging and missing. The catcher able to catch it right before it got to the ground. And Pedro Pages will now be up.
Put Matt Barefoot at 1 for 3 on the day with that strikeout. Pedro Pages, he's made hard contact both times he's been to the plate, but been sent away on F6s and an F8 respectively to go 0 for 2 on the day as of now.
The Mariners infielders playing at double play depth. Pitches into Pages. In for a strike, a off-speed pitch. There, Pages buckling his knees a little bit. Wasn't expecting that. A 1 pitch. That ball's high. Thought about throwing back to second, but Wenzel able to get there way before shortstop even got there. Pitches a ground ball to the shortstop, throws it on to second base, throws it on to first. The Harbor Hawks unable to score any runs. As now it is still 2-0. Harwich will be up in the bottom of the fifth. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucy.
Back in here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network alongside Robert Marcello. I'm Chris Lucy. Gavin Hollowell back out for inning number 5 of work on the day for Hyannis. He has been outstanding so far. Able to get through 4 frames of work with under 60 pitches. So he's been really in a lather today. Allowed only 2 hits to this Mariners ball club that trails Hyannis 2-0. Andre Lipsius at the plate now in his second ups against Hollowell. He's at the right-hand side of the plate. And the righty Hollowell kicks and deals. Fastball, check swing. They appeal down the first base line, and the umpire rings him up for strike 1. The shortstop from Tennessee behind in the count 0-1. stands at the right side of the plate. And here's the 0-1 pitch. Ball low and away. Little breaking pitch from Hollowell, wearing his blue Hyannis Harbor Hawks away jersey with orange lettering, orange sleeves, blue cap, orange bill. 1-1. Cut on and missed it. A strike over the outer half of the plate. A nice little fastball from Hollowell.
Just like Ozzy, the mascot.
Yeah, that's Ozzy the Osprey actually on the front bill of the cap as well. The 1-2. Missing low and away. Count now 2-2. Harwich countering with their red stirrups and creamsicle white jerseys with blue lettering, red trim on that lettering. As the 2-2 bounces in front of home plate for ball 3.
I described it as somewhat old-fashioned, that kind of jerseys.
They're going for a classic feel, the Mariners, and they get it. White House Field, also a classic setting for a ball game. It'll be the setting of the 2018 Cape Cod League All-Star Game, as here comes the payoff pitch from Hollowell. Cut on and foul tipped into Pedro Pages' glove, but it just gets out of there, so Lipsius will still be alive. Andre fighting his way to stay in this count. Hollowell right now at 69 pitches as the 3-2 is cut on and missed for strike 3. A 9-pitch at bat for Gavin Hollowell ends by way of the K, and there's one away here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Number 11, the
Good
right
pitch there
fielder
by Hollowell,
from
working
Miami,
very quickly.
Gabe
Reason why the Harbor Hawks are
Rivera.
up 2-0.
Gavin Hollowell just steamrolling his way through this Harwich Mariners lineup despite the heat, which he's not necessarily used to. And now Gabe Rivera coming up to the plate. The righty deals to the righty, and the pitch is clubbed on and grounded foul down the third base line. 0-1 the count. Rivera 0 for 1 today with a strikeout and a 2-3 putout on the drop from Pages, but he gets up and fired it on down the line to secure the out. Hyannis out front 2-0 here from White House Field. The 0-1. Hollowell throws it, and it is cut on and roped over the outstretched glove of Seth Gray at third base and into left field for a base hit. Gabe Rivera chugging around first base, stops at 2. Davis Wenzel gets the relay throw in from Todd Lott, and that's a one-out double in the bottom of the 5th inning. Hyannis defending a 2-run lead, but Harwich in striking distance now with Matt Gorski coming to the plate. Gorski 1 for 1 today with a single, but was caught stealing in the bottom of the 2nd to end that frame.
Matt Gorski.
And I mentioned that Hollowell isn't necessarily particular to the heat as Gorski steps up to the right side of the plate, because in the Big East Championship game this year, it was so hot at the setting where St. John's, Hollowell's team, was playing against Seton Hall that he almost fell victim to a little bit of heat stroke. As the first pitch is cut on and just foul tipped into the glove of Pages for strike 1. And by a little bit, you either have heat stroke or you don't. Hollowell, however, was really feeling under the weather, actually had to go into the St. John's clubhouse for a couple of innings to allow himself to breathe and get back in a right mental state. The 0-1. Missing low and away, count 1-1.
Well, I hope he's doing better today, as it definitely is a hot one. He really has nowhere to go.
Well, he took care of himself earlier in the ball game, just staying in the shade for most of batting practice, trying not to think too much about the task at hand today, coming in with a fresh mind, and he's been dealing so far. Now he sets, runner on second base, dances off, and here's the 1-1. Hacked on and missed for strike 2 at the fluttering changeup right there from Hollowell. 1-2 the count, and going back to that Big East Championship game, Hollowell was able not only to get back in the dugout for his ball club, but also close the game, a 7-0 win for the Johnnies over Seton Hall to secure a Big East Championship and a spot in a regional. Now the 1-2. Missing low and away for ball 2. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Hyannis out front 2-0 here at White House Field. Harbor Hawks looking to claw their way back to the top of the Western Division standings after a 2-game sweep from the Wareham Gatemen in a home and away series. Gavin Hollowell trying to secure the second out here at the bottom of the 5th. He comes to the set. The righty looking back. The righty Gorski at the plate. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Same pitch, same result. Another changeup from Gavin Hollowell. Gets the second out of the inning. Swinging There's 2 away, and now Brad Debo steps up to the plate.
Great pitch there by Hollowell. His change is really
35,
working well
the
today.
catcher from North Carolina State.
Debo 0 for 1 so far in this game. He has a runner on second base, though, and a chance to break into a 2-0 deficit for his ball club, the Harwich Mariners, against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. He's at the left-hand side of the plate. Righty Hollowell kicks and fires. And it's a first pitch ball. 1-0 the count on the off-speed offering from Hollowell.
It'll be very important to be able to get out of this inning if you're Hollowell.
He has a runner on second base, so it's in a bit of a situation with a 2-run lead. The 1-0. Called strike on a fastball. High heater, and brings the count now to 1-1.
Debo did not like that one as he kind of arched his hat back.
Having a little bit of a discussion with the home plate umpire. Now he peers out to Peter Pascarosa, the third base coach, to get a sign. Mark Tebow down the first base line for the Harwich Mariners today. As now Debo steps back in, the game is whistled live. Runner on second base, 2 down, 1-1 count on the NC State catcher. The pitch, cut on and grounded up the middle, through for a base hit. Gabe Rivera cruising around third base, chugging in. The throw comes into the infield, cut off by Brady Lindsley, and that is an RBI single for Brad Debo, who stops up at first base, and this game is within 1 run. Hyannis only with a 2-1 edge over the Harwich Mariners with 2 down in the bottom of the 5th.
Left that pitch
Now
out on
batting
the
for
plate.
Mariners, the third
There's
baseman
Hollowell there.
from Miami,
Debo making him pay.
number 5, Ray Gill.
Gabe Rivera chugging around from second base to score. They call him El Toro for a reason on this Harwich Mariners ball club. Runs like a bull, as Toro translates from Spanish, as the first pitch to Ray Gill. Another Miami product is cut on and fouled just down the first base line.
Behind the dish there is also Pedro Page, is also from Florida.
Yes, an alumnus of Gulliver Prep just outside of Miami, goes to Florida Atlantic. Plenty of Florida guys on the field today. Not used to the humidity that you get with the summer heat out here in Massachusetts, but they still get plenty of heat down in Florida.
Sure is. Always 100 degrees there.
Not always the 0-1. Cut on and missed. 0-2 now the count. Another changeup from Hollowell. Going over the outer half of the plate, drawing the hack and miss from Ray Gill, who's 0 for 1 in this contest.
Definitely cools off as the summer goes on there in Florida, for sure.
It's cooled off tonight as well. The 0-2. Missing low and away for ball 1. Hollowell trying to sneak a fastball just over the outer half of the plate, but a bit too low. Runner on first base now. Brad Debo doubled in Gabe Rivera from second to cut the Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead in half. It's 2-1 with a 1-2 count and 2 down in the bottom of the 5th inning. The pitch. Bouncer in the opposite batter's box. Count now goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hollowell gets a fresh ball from the home plate umpire. Jumped the gun a little bit there. Count is now 2-2. Gill standing at the right side of the plate. Devin Hollowell looking in at his pitch at his catcher Pages to get the call. Now the 2-2 pitch. Another bouncer in the dirt on that left-handed batter's box, and now the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gavin Hollowell spinning a gem early on, only allowed 1 run on 3 hits so far through 4 2/3, just trying to find his way to a full 5 and save the Hyannis Harbor Hawks bullpen that's had to use 6 arms in the past 2 games. The payoff pitch cut on and grounded up the left side. Bouncing ball over to Davis Wenzel, who backhands it, throws across the diamond, and gets the final out of the bottom of the 5th inning. One last big out for Gavin Hollowell. If that's all we see from Hollowell, that is one heck of an effort. He's held the second-place team in the Eastern Division to only 1 run through 5 innings of play here from White House Field. And now we head to the top of the 6th. Seth Gray, Brady Lindsley, and Todd Lott do up the 5, 6, 7 spots in the Hyannis Harbor Hawks order, looking to build on a 2-1 lead when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
50-50 table located next to the main entrance.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucy.
Inning for the Harbor Hawks, the third baseman.
Back out here at White House Field. New pitcher on the mound for the Harwich Mariners. Goodbye to Ty Buckner and hello, Ricky DeVito. The right-hander out of St. John's steps up on the mound. He'll face Seth Gray for his first batter of the game. He comes in relief for Ty Buckner, who in 5 innings pitched allowed 7 hits, only 1 earned run, 2 runs come to pass on his 4 strikeouts, only 1 walk. A great outing from him, but just not enough to calm down Hyannis after a couple of errors, stake the Harbor Hawks out to a 2-1 edge. And the first pitch from DeVito bounces at the feet of the left-handed hitting Gray.
So far this season, Vito has a 2.70 ERA in 6 2/3 of an inning.
And the 1-0, a fastball for a strike. 1-1 the count on Gray. 2 for 2 on the day with a pair of singles. Came around to score a run for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 4th inning. 1-1. Another called strike. 1-2 the count on another fastball. That one in on the hands and belt high. One, 2. High and outside fastball. Count now 2-2. DeVito trying to pump up the heat, much like his St. John's teammate Gavin Hollowell, who's been dealing for the Harbor Hawks today. 5 strong innings of 1-run baseball out of the righty, also from St. John's. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Seth Gray goes down swinging. His first out of the game. Top of the 6th inning starts with a strikeout to Seth Gray. Hyannis still out front 2-1 as Brady Lindsley comes up to the plate, looking to get his second hit of the evening. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI single that he put out there in the top of the 4th. Helped Hyannis jump out front to a 2-1 lead here from White House Field in this interdivisional matchup between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks from the west and the Harwich Mariners from the east. Now Lindsley up to the left side of the plate, the righty DeVito to the set, and the first pitch. Ball 1 inside. Brady Lindsley has to dance out of the way of that one. 1-0 the count. DeVito comes to a high set again, working from the windup and the 1-0. High fastball cut on and missed. 1-1 the count. We've seen some highs and lows early on this season from Brady Lindsley in the field as he's caught for the Harbor Hawks, which is his natural position, and then also played first, which is a bit of a change-up for Lindsley, the 1-1. Fluttering breaking ball for a strike. 1-2 the count. That one dipping over the inner half of the plate at belt level.
He did redeem himself, though, after dropping the ball over at first. He threw around to second for the out.
Absolutely. That was a great play early on in this game. And the 1-2. Cut on and fisted foul down the left field line. That one gets out of play in a hurry. That was... looking for that play right now. That was the second out of the bottom of the 4th. An E3 and then a 3-4 putout as Lindsley was able to gather up the throw that he missed and then just rifle it down to second base where Braden Como was waiting to apply the tag. The 1-2. Wave and a miss for strike 3. Another off-speed pitch to Lindsley, fooling him. And there is 2 away here in the top of the 6th.
Number 29, the left fielder
So 2 men up, 2 men go down swinging here for the Harbor Hawks. Hyannis still leading 2-1. Todd Lott up with a bases clear situation, which isn't what you want for your hottest hitter, but still Todd Lott, the type of man that can make things happen with just one swing of the bat. He leads the Harbor Hawks with 4 home runs on the Cape League campaign. Stands at the right side, the righty DeVito throws a fastball, which is a swing and strike 1. Evokes a puff of dust from the glove of Debo. Had to deal with a couple of fireballers on the mound today. Ty Buckner, the starter, pumping up the heat too. The 0-1. Another fastball for a strike. 0-2 the count. Todd Lott having to defend the plate now. Brace that 2-strike approach that staked Hyannis out to a 6-game winning streak and really was the pride of Coach Gassman for a good chunk of the early season. Chad looks down third base. The 0-2. Breaking ball called strike 3. Todd Lott looks at 3 straight strikes off the hand of the reliever in DeVito, and that is your 6th inning. Hyannis puts nobody on, strikes out 3 times, and now we go to the top of the 7th, or we go, to the bottom of the 6th, where Ben Norman, Chris Galland, and Danny Casals are due up for the Harwich Mariners. The bottom and top of the order when we get back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
We're back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Thank you for joining us. Alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucy. A new pitcher in for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. It's Brett Scholes out of Minnesota. He comes in relief of Gavin Hollowell after 5 outstanding innings from the St. John's right-hander. 5 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, and only 1 earned run has the Hyannis Harbor Hawks out front 2-1 as Scholes comes into the ballgame. Scholes will start things off against Ben Norman, the designated hitter out of Iowa. Comes to the set, and the righty deals to the lefty at the plate. A pitch that is cut on and cranked out into the gap in right center field. This one dunks right in front of Tommy Jew and Colin Hall, and the relay throw comes in from Jew as Norman cruises into second base with a double to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning.
Shows a bad start to his outing now with a chance for the Harwich Mariners to tie the game as now there's a runner at scoring position.
Brett Scholes comes into this outing, 8 innings pitched on the season, a 5.63 ERA, 5 earned runs on 2 walks, 10 hits, really. The eye popper from Scholes. He gets hit around a bit. He's going to have to find his way around bats tonight, especially with only a 1-run lead to defend and a runner on second base already in Ben Norman. Chris Galland up to the plate, 1 for 1 on the day with a single and a walk. Time called by Pedro Pages, the catcher, out from behind home plate to have a word with Scholes as they try to get a pitch that they can both agree on. Sun coming down here at White House Field. It was a hot scorcher of a day for all of batting practice, pretty much the early running of this game as well. And now it's cooled down quite nicely. Not too much sun left to be had, except on the outfield. The pitch. High fastball misses for the first ball. 1-0 the count. Runner on second base is Norman. Reached with a leadoff double here in the bottom of the sixth. Hyannis only out front 2-1, and now Ray Korn out to have a word with his righty from Minnesota. Pitching coach for Hyannis, not leaving anything to chance with just such a delicate lead in the balance, and you can't blame him, Rob.
Definitely cannot, as this is a very important runner out at second that cannot score if the Harbor Hawks want to win this game.
And you talk about an important runner out at second. How about an important game for Hyannis coming off a 2-game skid against the top of its own division? They get a fresh start, per se, against an Eastern Division opponent in the Harwich Mariners, and they jump out to a 2-0 edge early on in this ball game. But right now, things looking a little bit dicey as that runner stands on second base. Ray Korn is out there trying to calm down Brett Scholes and keep this thing in the bag for Hyannis, who was just trying to get its confidence back after a 17-4 shellacking last night.
Yeah, I think the Harbor Hawk, this is a very important game for them. I think not only for today, but I think for really the rest of the season, because they've gone on a 2-game skid. Teams are starting to pick it back up.
And now Ray Korn coming off the field of play. Everyone back in their positions. Middle infielders playing around double play depth. Brady Lindsley off the line at first. Seth Gray the same over at third. Coming in on the infield grass is Seth Gray. And the pitch from Scholes. Ball 2, low and away. Off-speed pitch missing from the Golden Gopher. Complementing the Hyannis Harbor Hawks blue and orange with a maroon-red undershirt. Long-sleeved shirt. Likely a Golden Gophers one. One of their complementary colors, the 2-0. Ball 3, high and tight on the fastball. So now Scholes working himself into a tough situation to start things off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Man aboard on second base was a leadoff double. Now he's a 3-0 count on the man at the plate in Gallant. The next pitch, a get me over fastball for strike 1. Brings the count to 3 balls and a strike. Chris Gallant standing at the plate, one of the fastest men in Cape Cod right now, as Scholes sets and deals the 3-1. And a fastball is hacked on and missed for strike 2.
Good way for Scholes to come back now running the count full 3-2. That's being down 3-0.
Absolutely. Chris Gallant, again, a speedster. Rumored to have ran a 3.66 trip down the first base line to beat out a bunt early on in the campaign. Scholes looks back. The runner at second comes with the payoff pitch, but time called by Galland, who comes out and looks down at Peter Pascarosa, his third base coach.
Calls it really late on. Pitch right down the heart of the plate.
Brett Scholes still electing to throw it rather than stop up and risk injury. A smart decision. And they'll have to do the payoff pitch again. It was a strike the first time. And Scholes steps off to look back the runner in Norman at second base. Norman reached with the leadoff double. It's 2-1 right now here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-2 count on Chris Galland. The Harbor Hawks looking for their first out. Brett Scholes looking for the first out of his outing for Hyannis. Payoff pitch. Ball 4. Chris Galland works his second walk of the day to an applause from the Harwich faithful and brings out Danny Casals, the second baseman out of Maine, for his third ups of the evening. He's 0 for 2, but has a golden situation at his hands right now. He steps up to the right side of the plate. Runners on first and second, nobody out. And the Harbor Hawks trying to defend a 2-1 lead here from White House Field and break a 2-game losing streak against the Mariners. Defensive guru Ray Korn out, or not Ray Korn, excuse me. That is another one of the Harbor Hawks coaches, Ron Polk, barking out defensive signals to the Harbor Hawks as the 2 corner infielders now come on the infield dirt. And ball 1 is thrown to Casals, who squared around for a bunt and sucked it back.
Think about moving the runners over both in scoring position with just 1 out.
Seth Gray creeping in towards home plate on every pitch. The Harbor Hawks third baseman trying to make sure he can get a throw down to second if necessary. The 1-0. Squared around a bunt again. Pitch is cut on and fouled off. Danny Casals unable to get on top of the ball. Kind of gets underneath it and sends it back behind home plate. 1-1 is the count. He looks back down the third base line. Pascarosa still giving the signs. Runners on first and second. Harbor Hawks in a pickle. The 1-1. Another bunt attempt. It's cut on and hacked behind home. Danny Casals now with a 1-2 count on him. The bunt likely taken off. No real change from the Harbor Hawks infield right now as Ron Polk gives the signs again. Corner guys still in on the grass. Middle infielders playing back towards the outfield dirt. The shortstop, Davis Wenzel, holding the runner Norman on at second base. The 1-2. Breaking ball cut on and fouled off of Pedro Pages, who rips the mask off and needs to take a sec to take a breather. Rest of the Harbor Hawks coming in off the infield dirt to give Pages a little bit more time to relax and kind of get himself right. Looks like he might have taken one off the chin there as the mask popped off pretty quickly, and he's rubbing the left side of his face right now around the jaw area. He gets the tools of ignorance back on, though. Tough man. Tough day to be wearing them. The heat really pumped up earlier today as he was catching the early innings of this ball game, but lucky for him, Gavin Hollowell was dealing through 5 innings of only 1-run baseball. That has the Harbor Hawks out front 2-1, but holding on to that lead by a thread with runners on second and third and nobody down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The 1-2 pitch, cut on and roped right to Davis Wenzel, who backhands it on a line for out number 1, and Brett Scholes breathes a sigh of relief as Danny Casals is retired for the first out of the bottom of the 6th on a nifty play from the middle infielder out of Baylor.
A tricky play there that I thought they got down, but it was caught by Wenzel right before it hit the ground.
The first baseman from the University of Virginia,
Nate Eichhoff off the bench now and coming up to the plate, 0 for 2 on the campaign, or on the day, excuse me. Came into this game on a 7 for 13 tear. As runners at first and second, looking to extend his tear and possibly get his team the lead. He stands at the left side of the plate, clubs at the first pitch he sees, and is grounded over to Brady Lindsley, who mimes a throw over to second, but instead opts to go to Brett Scholes, who covers first to get out number 2, as both runners advance to second and third, and the Harbor Hawks surrender position for an out. So with runners on second and third, there's 2 away. The Harbor Hawks an out away from getting out of a sticky situation with a 2-1 lead intact as Andre Lipsius comes up to the plate.
A great play there by Lindsley there. That could have ended very badly for the Harbor Hawks if he threw it over to second. He was able to get that quick out at first.
Andre up to the right side of the plate. Runners on second and third. Red Scholes to the set. The righty deals. Breaking ball for ball 1. Just missing the strike zone. A little bit high and inside. After 2 leadoff runners get aboard, Schultz is able to get 2 quick outs. He has a 1-0 count now on Lipsius. Righty-righty matchup. And here's the pitch. The 1-0 missing low and away for ball 2. The raw speed offering from the Gopher, not quite spotting up. Lipsius playing his college ball at Tennessee with his brother Luke, about an inch taller. His brother Luke probably doesn't let him forget about it either. Although his brother Luke bats from the left side of the plate rather than the righty Lipsius. Stands there now, and the 2-0 is called ball 3. Missing over the outer half of the plate a little bit too high. And now shows a pitch away from loading the bases. Hyannis only out front by a run. It's 2-1 here from White House Field. 2 down in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Pedro Pages comes out from behind home plate and shows floats in ball 4. A pitch out to avoid Andre Lipsius and bring up Gabe Rivera. Gabe is 1 for 2 on the day with a double. So It looks like the Harbor Hawks were just trying to avoid having to pound the strike zone with runners on second and third. So they gave Lipsius the free pass. And now they'll just take their chances with Rivera. Stands at the right side of the plate. Bases jammed. Only a 2-1 lead for the Harbor Hawks here in the bottom of the sixth, but 2 down from White House Field. The pitch. Called strike on a fastball. All the runners take a little dance off the bag, but retreat as the throw comes from Pages to the pitcher, Scholes. The catcher with his mask back on. 2-step lead off the bags for everybody. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball missing low and away in the dirt. Pedro Pages backhand stabs it, gets up to look back every runner, and then throws back over to Scholes. No wind out here at White House Field right now. The flag out in right center field, completely limp over the scoreboard that reads 2-1 Hyannis. And now Scholes to the set. Waiting to throw to Pages, and here it comes. Called strike on the fastball. Count now runs 1-2. And with the bases loaded, Scholes a pitch away from getting out of a serious jam. Only a 2-1 lead for the Harbor Hawks. But the Mariners threatening, banging at the door right now. Can Scholes put it away? He comes to the set. Golden Gophers righty kicks and fires. Called strike 3. A fastball darts over to the inner half of the plate and freezes up Gabe Rivera, a backwards K, ending the threat in the bottom of the sixth inning on a hit and a pair of walks. Harwich goes away empty-handed here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Hyannis up front 2-1 as we now head to the top of the seventh. Tommy Jew, Colin Hall, and Davis Wenzel due up when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Chris Lucy.
2-1 lead for Hyannis here as we now head back to things in the top of the seventh inning. Colin Hall leading off for the Harbor Hawks. Tommy Jew actually coming up to the plate, excuse me. Colin Hall will follow him. Tommy Jew taking a first pitch strike off the hand of DeVito out for inning number 2 of work. Ripping fastball from the righty out of St. John's, and now the 0-1. Cut on and clubbed over to second base. Rivera fields on a hop. That's Casals, excuse me, who fields on a hop and throws over to Eichhoff for out number 1. One away to start things off here in the top of the seventh inning. Colin Hall now coming to the plate.
Number 5, the right fielder from Georgia Tech, Colin Hall.
Hall plays his college ball at Georgia Tech. Has yet to record a hit in 2 at-bats today. He's at the left side. The righty kicks and deals a pitch that is ball 1. A little bit too inside for Hall's taste. He has to bounce out of the way. Hall wearing a blue batter helmet right now. The Hyannis H on the forehead. The 1-0 cut on and cranked out to right center field. This one, Jason Gorski and Rivera back to the wall, and Rivera lays out at the track and makes the catch on the forehand stab for out number 2. Nothing Colin Hall can do but tip his hat to the outfielder out of the University of Miami, and there are 2 away here in the top of the 7th inning. The 2 ACC foes will definitely have a word or two about that one the next time the Yellow Jackets and the Hurricanes meet up in conference play. Davis Wenzel now up for the Harbor Hawks. Lineup turning over for Hyannis, who lead 2-1 here from White House Field. He's at the right-hand side of the plate and takes a strike from the righty. Nice fastball from DeVito. Infield, outfield straight away, the 0-1. Breaking ball, check swing. They appeal down to first. And the first base umpire says Wenzel holds up. 1-1 the count. Now the 1-1. Cut on and golfed foul behind home. Davis Wenzel keeping himself in it. Count 1-2. 2-strike hitting, a key for the Harbor Hawks early on in this campaign. The 1-2. Ball 2. Breaking pitch, getting a late call from the home plate umpire. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hyannis out front 2-1, but 2 quick outs made here in the top of the 7th inning. Davis Wenzel fights to keep the inning alive. The pitch. Cut on and hit high in the air the other way. This one tracking Rivera back towards the line and right. Rivera dives, and the ball kicking off of his glove, but he's able to still make the catch on a bobble. A second diving catch from the University of Miami Hurricane, robbing 2 potential hits from the Harbor Hawks and ending the top of the 7th inning in frustration for Hyannis. No hits, no men left on base. And now the Harbor Hawks will have to counter the bottom of the order for the Harwich Mariners. Matt Gorski, Brad Debo, and Ray Gill due up for Harwich when we return here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
to Chad Gassman making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
We're back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Chad Gassman making a move. Brett Scholes out of this game, and in comes Ryan Pepio in one inning of work for Scholes. He allowed one hit, no runs, one walk, and a strikeout. And now Pepio faces the Harwich Mariners, and the first pitch he throws is ball one, high and outside. He's facing off against Matt Gorski, center fielder out of Indiana. 1 for 2 on the day with a single and a strikeout. Now the 1-0. Pepio draws a hack and a miss. 1-1 now the count. Pepio playing his college baseball at Butler. In the midst of a nice season for Hyannis. 1-0 record in the pitch. Cut on and missed, or just tipped into the glove of Pedro Pages, says the home plate umpire. Strike two. 11 innings pitched. 18 strikeouts for Pepio. The 4.91 ERA, a bit of a misnomer after some early season struggles. The 1-2. High and outside. Brings the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pepio especially lethal against the Wareham Gatemen, who have gotten the better of the Harbor Hawks in each of their last 2 meetings. The 2-2. Cut on and wristed foul down the first base line. Gorski stays alive. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pepio to the set and the 2-2. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. Pedro Pages loops the ball over to third base where Hyannis goes around the horn. And there's one away here in the bottom of the 7th.
Number 35, the catcher, North Carolina State.
I mentioned Pepio, a bright spot for the Harbor Hawks. He struck out 6 Gatemen and only faced 6 this season. Brad Debo's at the left side of the plate. And he hacks the first pitch he sees, sends it foul on a line down the third base side. 0-1 the count on the NC State backstop. 1 for 2 on the day as Debo got an RBI single in the bottom of the 5th and struck out. That RBI single played in the only run of the day for the Mariners as the 0-1 loops and bounces in front of home plate, bouncing away to the backstop here in Harwich, a cavernous backstop. Easily the deepest you'll see out here in Cape Cod, and with a chain link fence behind it, so not much bounce if the ball hits it. The 1-1. Missing low and outside, count 2-1. The lights are starting to come on here at White House Field. We got off to a 5:30 start, so 2 hours into this game, we're cruising along. We're here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and now the 2-1. Called strike on the fastball from Pepio. 2-2 now the count. Hyannis, as I mentioned, losing that 2-game set with the Gatemen, but with a 2-0 series advantage over the Harwich Mariners on the season, the 2-2. Wave and a miss, strike 3. A weak flail from Brad Debo, just trying to send the ball probably foul down the third base line and stay alive, but he is fooled on the off-speed stuff from Pepio, and there's 2 away, both by way of the strikeout here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Ray Gill from Miami coming to the plate. And this is just the kind of game that Chad Gassman wanted after a tough one yesterday as Gill fouls the first pitch off. 0-1 the count now on the third baseman. Gill's 0 for 2 today with a pair of outs by contact. Infield, outfield pretty much straight away. Middle infielders playing on the outfield grass almost. The 0-1. Cut on and on the hands and sent foul behind home again. Pepio working quickly and mowing through the Harwich Mariners right now, trying to maintain a 2-1 edge for the Harbor Hawks out here at White House Field. The only sunlight left shining on this ballpark coming over the fence in right center field, the 0-2. Big looping breaking ball for ball 1. Looked like he would have froze up Ray Gill, but no call from the home plate umpire. 1-2 is the count. Pepio with the pitch. Hacked on and missed it. High heat for strike 3. The Butler product strikes out the side, and that is your 7th inning. We go to the top of the 8th now. The Harbor Hawks will send up the top of their order. When we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, do not go anywhere. Hyannis trying to snap a 2-game skid here from White House Field, and they have a 2-1 lead.
Want less financial stress in your retirement? Then listen to the Ready, Set, Retire radio show with host Steve Antonucci, Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WXTK 95.1 FM. More details at fairwayfinancial.net. Your attention, please. Now on the mound for the Mariners, number 16 from Texas Tech, Caleb Freeman.
We're back. We're back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Thank you for joining us alongside Robert Marcello. I'm Chris Lucy. A new pitcher is out on the mound for the Harwich Mariners, and I mean new. Christian Santana, sophomore out of Florida International University, has yet to see action here on the Cape, but in 18 appearances with Florida International, he went 2-4, a 5.79 ERA, 28 innings pitched, and 32 strikeouts. Teammate of Hyannis Harbor Hawk pitcher Nick McDonald. And now up to the plate for the Harbor Hawks comes Braden Como to start things off. That's a first pitch strike to Como. Santana off to a quick start. The righty ahead in the count 0-1. Braden Como trying to get his second hit of the day. He's 1 for 3. Yeah, 1. Cut on, and the pitch is set high in the air, foul down the first base line. Count 0-2 on Como. Santana playing his college ball at Florida International, but an alumnus of American Heritage High School, which is a familiar name for a lot of baseball fans because that's the alma mater of Eric Hosmer. The 0-2. Cut on and sent high and foul behind home again. Braden Como staying alive. Hyannis leads 2-1 here. And it's interesting, Rob, how some of these high schools just in different parts of the country will actually get a lot of notoriety just based on the fact that they've got MLB talent walking their hallways.
Definitely speaks to their development.
And the 0-2 is cut on in on the hands of Como, grounded over to third base. Gill jumps in, throws across the diamond, and gets the speeding Como for out number 1 here in the top of the 8th inning. Matt Barefoot now coming to the plate for Hyannis. Hasn't seen the base paths since stealing a bag off of a single in the top of the first inning. He's 1 for 3. Coming in at the DH spot today, Barefoot. Had been a leadoff man for more than 2/3 of the season at Campbell University and started in the top spot for Hyannis, but since has just cruised back because he's been such a lethal bat. The Harbor Hawks want him to drive in runs as he takes the first pitch high and outside for ball 1. And that's one of the perks to being a middle of the lineup guy, as Barefoot was talking about earlier today. Didn't drive in as many runs as he wanted to earlier this season or in his entire season at Campbell for that matter, but getting the chance to now, the 1-0. Cut on and grounded foul down the third base line. Count now 1-1. One of the main differences, though, is when you come off the leadoff spot, it's pretty much see the ball, hit the ball. But in situations unlike this, where the bases are empty and you're just trying to build on a 2-1 lead here with 1 out in the top of the 8th inning, you have to do a bit more situational hitting as the 1-1 misses low and away for ball 2. And that means shortening up to get contact to a certain side of the infield or outfield, knowing that you have to barrel up, hitting and running. It's different. He doesn't really have to do that as a leadoff man. The 2-1. Cut on and grounded, a weak dribbler over to shortstop. Lipsius picks it up, forehand side, throws across the diamond, and Barefoot is retired for out number 2. And it's a new challenge for him, Rob, but that's kind of what these guys want coming out to the Cape. I mean, of course, you see the velocity every day, and it's not easy necessarily to learn new things. You might not necessarily want to try and become a switch hitter on the Cape, but looking at the game from a different perspective, maybe giving yourself a bit more responsibility is kind of right up in the wheelhouse for these guys.
Sure is, and if you play it in one of the bigger conferences, usually seeing the same pitchers, it's tough for some of the small D1 guys to come down here and face someone from a big-time conference.
Barefoot playing in the SoCon Conference for Campbell University. Now here's Pedro Pages at the plate. Takes high and outside for ball 1. The righty on the mound, Santana. Behind the count 1-0, but he's gotten 2 quick outs here in the top of the 8th inning. Now to the set again. Santana deals, and the pitch is grounded right back up the middle to Lipsius. Fields forehand side, throws across to Eichhoff for out number 3. 3 outs by contact here in the top of the 8th as we now head to the bottom half of the frame. Hyannis still leading 2-1, and the bottom and top of the Harwich Mariners order coming to the plate for the bottom of the 8th when we get back. Ben Norman, Chris Gallen, and Danny Casals, 9, 1, and 2 in that order when we return on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network, alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucy. Hyannis out front 2-1 here from White House Field. Ryan Pepio out for another inning of work. Harborhawks hanging on to a 2-1 lead. And would be a big bounce-back win for Hyannis here, Rob, as they lost a pair of tough games to the Wareham Gatemen coming into this game, the divisional rival of the Harborhawks, who took first place in the West by a commanding margin with those 2 wins. A 4-3 win for the Gatemen down at Spillane Field, and then a 17-4 drubbing last night. This 2-1 edge meaning a lot more than just that for the Harborhawks right now.
Definitely trying to get a win here to snap that kind of bad taste in their mouth from last night, and then also unable to score any runs the other night before.
Ben Norman coming to the left side of the plate. Pepio, the right-hander, comes to the set and deals the first pitch. Cut on and fouled behind home. Ball dribbles off and hits the chain link fence behind home plate. 0-1 in the count, and as I mentioned, the ball getting back there and then completely dying out on the fence. So a cavernous backstop made all the more dangerous for catchers here, as if that ball gets behind you, it's going to come to a roll and a stop and not bounce back to you, as the 0-1 is hacked on and sent to the left side of the infield. Seth Gray calls everybody off, makes the catch, and the third baseman records the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning. The third baseman, excuse me. One away here in bottom of the 8th. Hyannis out front 2-1, top of the order. Coming to the plate for the Harwich Mariners, it's Chris Galland. Today's left fielder, 1 for 1 with a pair of walks and a single. He's at the right side of the plate. The righty Pepio kicks and fires, and check swing is grounded foul down the third base line. Seth Gray, the third baseman, coming on quickly to make the play, but can't get it before it dribbles just beyond the chalk line. Light's starting to take effect here at White House Field. This game chugging along, though. 5:30 start. We're already in the bottom of the 8th. It's only 7:51. So it's likely you could get this game in before you really need the full effect of the lights. The 0-1. Inside, and that one looks like it hit off Chris Galland. But they're actually saying that it just barely got a piece of his bat. So that's a 1-1 count on the BC Eagle. Butler Bulldog on the mound to the set and the pitch. Another check swing, and it's cut on and roped foul down the first base line. 1-2 the count. I apologize on the previous pitch. That was actually ball 1, as Galland grounded the first pitch down the third base line and then almost was hit by the pitch, but just the wind rebelled his clothes rather than the baseball. 1-2. Ball 2 low and inside. Fastball missing from Pepio. Pepio is faced 4 and retired 4 here in this game. On for inning number 2 of work, defending a 2-1 edge for Hyannis. The 2-2. Ball 3 bouncing in the opposite batter's box. Count loaded at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Galland just trying to get himself back on a hot streak. Came into this game on a 4 for 21 stretch. The 3-2. High heat swing and a miss for strike 3. So 5 come up and 5 go down to Ryan Pepio to start his evening. 2 away in the bottom of the 8th. And Danny Casals coming to the plate for the Mariners. Nice high fastball right there from the righty out of Butler. Able just to completely dare the left fielder out of Boston College to hit it. And Ryan Pepio coming out on top. Now the first pitch. Low and away for ball 1 to Casals.
Definitely an important pitch to be able to get that second out. Now let's have to worry about Casals here with 2.
Casals is 0 for 3 on the afternoon. The 1-0. Called a strike. Fastball darting over the outer half at belt level. 1-1 the count. More so an evening, but we got off to an afternoon start. Here's the 1-1. Cut on and golfed high in the air out towards center field. Tommy Jew, the center fielder, tracking 2 steps over to his left, closes his glove on the ball for out number 3 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So 6 up, 6 down for Ryan Pepio. He is cruising through the Harwich Mariners lineup like a hot knife through butter here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, and we are on to the top of the 9th inning. Hyannis looking to get a couple insurance runs on a 2-1 lead, as now we head to the middle of the Hyannis order. Seth Gray, Brady Lindsley, and Todd Lott coming up after a quick break on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
We're back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Chris Lucy alongside Robert Marcello. Hyannis out front 2-1 from White House Field here in Harwich, trying to snap a 2-game skid and get their way back onto the right side of the win column before an off day tomorrow. Seth Gray leading things off for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. He stands at the left-hand side of the plate, the righty on the mound, coming to the set and the pitch. Called strike from Freeman. 0-1 the count. Freeman to the set again. 0-1. Cut on and roped out into the gap in left center field. This one dinks in for a base hit. Galland and Gorski converging on the ball in left center. The left fielder, Galland, charging over and firing it into the infield before Seth Gray gets any ideas about taking second. He just cruises around first base with a single, and the leadoff man is aboard for Hyannis here in the top of the ninth.
Good piece there by Seth Gray, being able to shoot it out in the gap, unable to make it 2 bases, but he came pretty close.
Brady Lindsley stepping up to the plate now. He's at the left side as well. Runner on first base. Hyannis out front 2-1 with a chance to possibly stack another run on top of that lead and get a little bit of security going into the bottom of the ninth of a crucial, possibly a bounce-back win for the Harbor Hawks. Freeman to the set and the first pitch. Cut on and sliced foul down the left field line. Chris Galland coming over to foul territory, but the Speeds are out of Boston College, unable to keep that one from going beyond the fence. 0-1 the count on Lindsley. And we mentioned earlier in this game that he was really starting to come into his own over at first. And he attributes that to the guys that have been playing second with him, and Braden Como and Alec Trella at times, for just being very vocal in the infield and helping him realize that there are some balls that are his, but most of them belong to the pretty rangy middle infielders, as they are very vocal about calling him off. And Brady Lindsley happy to oblige. 0-1. Bouncer, looks like it got off the front foot of Lindsley, but actually just gets away from Debo behind home plate. Seth Gray runs into second base, thinks about going for third, but stutter steps behind the bag and retreats. So on the wild pitch right there from Freeman, Seth Gray advances. There's a runner in scoring position with a 1-1 count now on Brady Lindsley. Nobody down in the top of the ninth inning. 2-1 lead for Hyannis. Now, what looked like a little bit of a situation brewing for the Whitecaps, or for the Mariners, excuse me, is starting to unravel. The 1-1, low and inside for ball 2. Giving up a big chance for Hyannis with Seth Gray over at second base. Third baseman with some pretty good wheels. Now Freeman to the set again. Lindsley at the left side. The righty kicks and fires, and the 2-1 is cut on and grounded right back to him. Seth Gray caught in a rundown between second and third base as the pitcher making the smart throw going over to third base to get that out as Lindsley cruises into first, second safely, and then Seth Gray is tagged out in the rundown for out number 1.
Tough play there for Lindsley. Unfortunately, unable to just not get it high enough to go over the pitcher's head. And then for Seth Gray there, just got caught in a rundown.
They'll call that a 1-6 putout on the play right there. Seth Gray retired for the first out of the inning. Fielder's choice for Brady Lindsley, and he really put a good charge into the ball. And now Todd Lott up to the right side of the plate with a runner on first. Still 2-1 lead for the Harbor Hawks here in the top of the ninth. Only one away. Freeman comes to the set and deals a pitch that is grounded over to short. Lipsius to second for one. Relay throw to first. Bobbled by Eichhoff, but the first base umpire calls Todd Lott out regardless because Eichhoff was just able to hold on long enough at the stretch and get Todd Lott for the final out of the top of the ninth inning. So on one hit, nobody is left on base, no runs score, and Hyannis goes to the bottom of the ninth inning trying to shut the door on a bounce-back win here against the Harwich Mariners. 2 up for Harwich. Andre Lipsius, Gabe Rivera, and Matt Gorski, the 4, 5, and 6 men in the order, the heart of the lineup for the Mariners when we get back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Back inside White House Field for the bottom of the ninth here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucy. Eric Rivera coming out as a defensive replacement for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. He will be replacing one of the Hyannis outfielders. Looks like Todd Lott coming out of the game. So out comes Lott, and in comes Rivera in left field. And another replacement to report, Dylan Thomas on the mound for Hyannis after 2 innings of shutout relief from Ryan Pepio. 4 strikeouts, no hits allowed. Dylan Thomas in to close the door on what could be a 2-1 win for Hyannis that could snap a 2-game losing streak. Dylan Thomas has no small task at hand, though. Nate Eichhoff, Andre Lipsius, and Gabe Rivera do up the heart of the order for the Harwich Mariners. Eichhoff 0 for 3 on this game, steps up to the left side of the plate. Dylan Thomas, the right-hander, to the set and the pitch. Cut on and ripped out into the gap in right center field. That one dinks in between Rivera and Jew out in center. Rivera comes to the ball first, throws into second base just behind the speeding Eichhoff, who leads off the bottom of the ninth with a double.
Thomas there just leaving that pitch just up in the zone there, being able to hit it on the gap for a leadoff double.
Dylan Thomas in 6 games for the Harbor Hawks is 3-0 with a 1.08 ERA. That was only the 6th hit he's allowed this season, and he's only allowed 1 earned run as well in 8 innings pitched. 8 1/3 innings pitched. Lipsius up to the plate now. Hyannis in a bit of trouble. Leadoff double for the Mariners. Put a runner in scoring position. Hyannis trying to defend a 2-1 edge out here in Harwich. Lights coming on here at White House Field. Hyannis trying to go into its off day on a high note. Lipsius now squaring around for a bunt. Thomas deals. High in sight fastball for ball 1. Doesn't get any action from Lipsius, who draws the bunt back. 1-0 is the count. Ron Polk back out of the dugout to bark defensive signals out to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks lineup. Brady Lindsley comes in on the infield grass. Seth Gray, the third baseman, following suit with the first baseman as another bunt squared up by Lipsius. Thomas to the set and the 1-0. Breaking ball for a strike. 1-1 the count, and a breaking pitch for a strike is just what you need when someone's trying to square a bunt on you. You don't want to bunt on a breaking pitch, because then you get under it and that can cause a litany of problems.
Lindsley was practically at home plate by the time the pitch came in.
The Hyannis Harbor Hawks on edge, trying to secure this win and break a 2-game skid. Thomas to the set, the 1-1. Fastball missing low and away. 2-1 the count. Lindsley again charging in at home plate as the pitch came in. Expecting one up the first base line because of the runner on second base in Eichhoff, trying to advance over to third on the play. Seth Gray still just a foot on the infield dirt, keeping his body turned towards the runner over at second, who's held on by the shortstop, Wenzel. The 2-1. Lipsy is squaring around for a bunt again, pulls it back and takes ball 3. Lindsley running a wind sprints up the first base line. Braden Como doing likewise, running over to first base to possibly cover the bag on every pitch. 4 have been thrown to Lipsius so far. The Tennessee Volunteer shortstop ahead in the count, 3 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Fastball, and it's bunted down the third base line. Seth Gray says, I got it. He throws on to first to get one. And advancing over to third base, Nate Eichhoff. So the tying run 90 feet away with 1 down here in the bottom of the 9th, and Gabe Rivera stepping up to the plate.
Good play there by Seth Gray, calling everyone off, throwing it on to first
Number
just
11,
to get the out.
Right fielder from Miami, Gabe Rivera.
1 away here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Hyannis with a 1-run lead as Gabe Rivera steps up to the plate. 5'11", 210 pounds. 3 RBI on the season. Anything across the scoreboard right now will tie this game and potentially send it into extras. Anything out of the ballpark wins it. Gabe Rivera at the right side of the plate. Dylan Thomas, the righty, comes to the set, a runner on third, and the pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 1.
Great pitch there by Dylan Thomas, getting the batter off balance.
Rivera behind in the count, 0-1. Rivera 2 homers this season for the Hurricanes. Played his college ball in Miami, the 0-1. Missing the low and away for ball 1. Lights are on here at White House Field. A packed house in Harwich for an interdivisional matchup between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Harwich Mariners. Hyannis leads 2-1, trying to close this one out. Toss to the set, the 1-1. Another hack and a miss from Rivera. Count advances to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rivera looking to avoid his 13th strikeout of the season. He already struck out twice today. The 1-2. Misses ball 2, low and away on the fast pitch. Runner on third base is Eichhoff. He led this inning off with a double, and then a sacrifice bunt from Andre Lipsius got him over to third. Infielders playing in on the grass, the 2-2. Hacked on and missed, strike 3. A big breaking pitch from Dylan Thomas gets the second out of the inning, and the Harbor Hawks are an out away from securing a 2-1 win here at White House Field.
That was a big pitch there by Dylan Thomas. That's why he's the closer for this team. Great pitch. Low outside changeup.
Matt Gorski, the last hope for the Harwich Mariners, with a runner on third base, down 2-1 against Hyannis. Gorski, 1 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. He sends a bunt foul down the third base line on the first pitch from Thomas.
Interesting with 2 outs to be able to put a bunt down here.
I guess going for confusion above all else. Not sure what the call was from Peter Pascarosa, who's still giving the signs down the third base line. Oh, 1 count on Gorski. Here's the pitch. Ball 1, low and away. Changeup, not really with a lot of motion on it. 1-1 the count. Thomas to the set. Here's the 1-1. Hacked on and missed. Fastball brings Hyannis a strike away from a 2-1 win here in the interdivisional matchup between the Harwich Mariners and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Thomas. The back end of the Hyannis Harborhawks bullpen comes to the set. Everyone at White House Field at bated breath. The 1-2 hacked on and missed for strike 3. Pedro Pages, the catcher, pumps his fist in excitement from behind home, and the Hyannis Harborhawks break a 2-game skid and take a 2-1 win here in Harwich. Hyannis advances to 11-6-1 on the season with the win. Harwich falls to 9-9-1. And Rob, the Hyannis Harborhawks can breathe a major sigh of relief going into tomorrow's off day.
They definitely can. A hard-fought 2-1 win. We had another one this season where we won 1-0. That was hard-fought. Really good win tonight.
Very good indeed. We'll have post-game coverage coming up in just a minute here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. Lyle Goldstein will jump back on to wrap things up. And now the Harborhawks go into an off day with a good little bit of momentum going in their favor. And you have to look back to the beginning of this game where Hyannis got it started off on the right foot from 5 one-run innings from Gavin Hollowell, the reliever at St. John's, a reliever to start things off for the Harborhawks in his second start. Really impressing today, Rob. What stood out to you about Hollowell?
I think he just commanded his pitches very well. He didn't leave anything above the plate. He just pitched really well, the reason why they won today.
And then Ryan Pepio coming out of the bullpen. Continued dominance from him. 4 strikeouts in only 2 innings pitched. Dylan Thomas slamming the door. And it's a big day for the Harborhawks in that Hyannis has now used 9 arms out of the pen in the last 3 games. And the off day tomorrow providing a major breather for Hyannis as they'll need every bit of rest they can get going out into the nitty-gritty of the season.
Sure, Ken is, anytime there's an off day, you got to take advantage of it. And that's the reason why Coach used as many pitchers as he did.
Final score one more time here. Hyannis 2, Harwich 1. Lyle Goldstein, our post-game man, coming in soon to wrap things up here. But stick around. Hyannis taking a big win and taking a big sigh of relief after a thrilling 9 innings here from Harwich.
Walking down these lonely streets with the frown on my face. I shed my tears, but now my smile is on. My frown has been replaced, and though the darkness is still surrounding me.
Welcome into the Harborhawks post-game show. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein, as Hyannis downs the Harwich Mariners by a score of 2-1 here at White House Field. Joined now by second half play-by-play man Chris Lucy. Chris, first off, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And let's just get down to it. This is now the second time these teams have played where under 4 runs have been scored, as Hyannis won 2-0 the last time these teams met at McKeon. 2-1 tonight, also the first time 5-3. So these games always seem to be close, not a whole lot of offense at premium in any of these three contests, but especially tonight. Harbor Hawks, just 2 runs, but they find a way to get it done, putting together just enough offense.
Yeah, it's a shame for Cape League fans that these two teams don't find themselves in the same division because they're such just a good matchup. And a shame for Harbor Hawks fans, too, because now the Hyannis team takes a 3-0 series edge and only has 1 game remaining against the Mariners back at McKeon Park, gunning for the 4-game sweep in that one. But a big bounce back for Hyannis after a very tough loss to the Wareham Gatemen last night, and definitely giving Hyannis a very good little jump-off point into an off day tomorrow.
Now to quickly talk about the pitching. Gavin Hollowell, his best outing of the summer up to this point, 5 innings, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. And then, again, it sounds like a broken record at this point. How about the bullpen?
4 innings from the Hawks bullpen today. Ryan Pepio coming in with 2, Brett Scholes with 1, and then Dylan Thomas slamming the door on the Harwich side. Even after the leadoff double, he came in clutch for Hyannis, providing some much-needed closure on a 2-1 win that the Harbor Hawks had almost given away off that leadoff double.
The final for the bullpen tonight, they combined to go 4 scoreless innings, like you mentioned, also strike out in total of 7 while giving up a just combined 2 hits. Chris, I thank you so much for joining me here on the postgame show. You can catch this broadcast again, as well as our highlights on the SoundCloud channel. Quickly for around the rest of the league for your update, out at Lowell Park in Katuitt, that one is just wrapped up in 11 innings where the Kettleers take the game 4-3 over the Chatham A's. Out at Guff Fuller Field in Falmouth, the Commodores trail 5-4 to the Brewster Whitecaps, who are in desperate need of a win, but Falmouth etching their way up back into the Western Division standings as well, as they came into today 10 points back of Wareham, but just 2 back of the Katuitt Kettleers, who hold that final spot as we speak in the Western Division playoff bracket. At Spillane Field in Wareham, Harbor Hawks fans can start to rejoice a little bit as Whitey's up 5-4 in the 7th. Of course, we know Wareham in their offense, they can score in bunches at any point, but the Red Sox putting up a fight on the top team in the Cape League. Eldridge Park, that game's wrapped up. Orleans took that one 7-6 over the Bourne Braves, another close one between those two. And then, of course, here at White House Field, 2-1 in favor of the Harbor Hawks. Your final line in this game tonight, Hyannis scores 2 runs on 7 hits, 1 error, leaves 4 on base. Harwich Mariners, 1 run on 6 hits, 1 error, and also leave 4 on base. Gavin Hollowell, your winning pitcher for tonight. The man out of St. John's, 5 innings pitched on the night, 5 strikeouts, just an earned run. Ty Buckner suffers the loss, and Dylan Thomas picks up yet another save, one of the most effective relievers out on the Cape, continuing his solid campaign. We thank you for tuning into this version of the post-game show, as well as our broadcast tonight. You can catch this as well as Hawk Talk on our YouTube page, and then our highlights on SoundCloud. For one final time for our broadcasters tonight, Robert Marcello and Chris Lucy, I'm Lyle Goldstein signing off. Hyannis wins 2-1, and we'll catch you on Tuesday.